What's up, everybody? It's Gomlet back again with more Momir's Madness. Let's see if this will become Momir's Madness or Momir's Sadness. I couldn't resist. I hope somebody's titled a video that. I just give my videos boring titles where it's just Momir's Madness and then event number, whatever. But somebody out there, if you get a really poor run on Momir's Madness, just toss up that video. Momir's Sadness. .mp4. Alright, so it's good to see that my computer is still making things look all weird and glitchy when I draw the lands, so that's beautiful. But yeah, there's not a lot to talk about at the start of a Momir game because we have no idea where this is going to go. We'll go where the cards take us. I don't know what my opponent is doing. I don't know if they're actually considering mulliganing. There's absolutely no point. They'll just get another hand of basic lands. Starting to get a little concerned. Alright, there we go. Opponent going to time on the very first decision in the whole game. I'm like, this may be a long one. Double islands. Opponent representing the mono-blue cause. I can respect that. Blue's your favorite color and you want to just be like, check it, then go ahead. There's not a whole lot to gain by playing the correct lands. I would definitely just make sure I have mountains out, because if anybody ever hits 9 mana, it is pretty likely that the game will end up with Zakamas, which is just a guaranteed use for your mountains. You get a really good ability out of that, but all the other lands, it is pretty random whatever creatures you're going to get, and there's fine abilities in every color. Blue has some stuff to give unblockability, black has some pumps, red has some damage. I don't remember any green abilities, but I'm sure there are some. And white has stuff that'll get lifelink. So, let's see where this goes. Opponent gets a 2-3 whenever they cast an instant or sorcery, so the text is completely irrelevant. They have a 2-3. My Skyline Scout, I did not mention, but it does have relevant text. For 2 mana, I can give it flying until end of turn, which is actually relevant. That could poke through for the last couple damage later in the game. But for now, I think I want to just keep playing a card every turn and try and stay on curve with my creatures. Rock Charger is a really nice draw. Whenever it attacks, another attacking creature without flying gains flying until end of turn. So this will turn late game random large creatures into very strong threats if my opponent doesn't have a flyer big enough to kill this charger, which I guess isn't that likely. They'll probably get at least a 3-power flyer at some point in this game. Just gotta make sure to trade that off for the Rock Charger as soon as possible. Opponent goes for their 4-drop, and they get a Skizik, so that is unfortunate. Skizik dies during the end step in which it came out. So they basically just lost out on their 4-drop, and now I actually get to attack here now that I have a creature that's good enough at blocking that. It's probably best to attack even if I didn't have another creature on the board at that point, just because I get to deal 3 damage to them and then take 2 in response, so I'm getting a little bit more damage out of my attack than they would. They get a Teferi's Sentinel. It is from the Teferi Planeswalker deck, so it has an ability if you ever control a Teferi Planeswalker, which is impossible in Momir. So it is just a 2/6, really good blocker. So Rock Charger is definitely going to put in some work here. We're just going to get as aggressive as possible here and give our biggest creature flying and deal the damage from the Regisar to their face. Try to kill them before they happen upon something with reach or flying. Next turn, I could give my entire field flying thanks to Skyline Scout's ability, so I could hit for 4, 5, 6 if you count the additional point from Regisar, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have exact lethal if they don't get a flying or reach creature, and they did. It may be too late, though, because I've been attacking for flyers with flyers for a while. It might still be best to just attack as aggressively as possible next turn. Because they can only block one of them, so I think the worst thing that could happen is they kill Rock Charger or Regisar, and if either of those are gone... Let's see, if they block Regisar, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they take 6 again next turn if they don't get another flyer. If they block Rock Charger, they take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they take, yeah. If I just send in with everybody, then they are dead next turn if they don't get another flyer. Oops, oh no, oh that was stupid, oh Jesus. I was trying to just, I meant to use his ability, but I accidentally targeted Rock Charger. Rock Charger's ability onto him. Wow, that was awful. Actually awful. I thought his ability was going to resolve first, so I was just trying to click on him to finish the ability, but that's not how that works. Oh, wow. The problems with playing Magic digitally. There's just so many intricacies and stuff that can just go wrong. Yeah, that's like in paper Magic, all you have to do is just say, alright, I'll attack, I'll use Skyline Scout's ability, I'll use... But you gotta click correctly digitally. It's just a layer of something that could go wrong, so it will go wrong. Oh, looks like I got another flyer, so it might not matter. But that was that was an awful misclick on my part. Opponent does get a grounded 7/7, so that should be game. The most they can stop is my 3-power flyer, so if I do the Regisar damage to their face, that will be exact lethal. We would have had that game a lot more in the bag had I actually clicked correctly. The way it ended up, if they managed to get, you know, a 7-mana 7/7 flyer there, they definitely could have lived. Unfortunately for our opponent, they did get pretty unlucky throughout that game. Alright, so this game I'm going to focus on using all of my abilities correctly and not misclicking or derping it up. That's all I want to do this game. Win or lose, let's play correctly. Or at least do what I'm intending to do, at the very least, even if what I'm intending to do is not essentially playing correctly. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start at 2 mana. Opponent's just waiting. Seems like they are probably trying to make sure they can hit 9 drops. That is a thing that I've started to notice. A very big strategy for a lot of players that is really irritating to me. Is that it seems like a lot of people are just like, let's just not play anything until we hit the really expensive cards so that we can just have a race for Zakama. That's incredibly boring to me. I get how it might be the best thing, but that is the only thing that Momir was before they printed 2 more 9-drops, so that 9 mana isn't a guaranteed Zakama. And it's really disappointing to me going back to that. So opponent got really unlucky on their 4-drop. Probably something like a Skizix, something that's like a... maybe like a 0/0 that enters with a counter for each other creature you control or something like that. There's no way to really see what they got, because it just never even showed up on the board. It was something not good. Followed up by a Siege Gang Commander, which is something very good, so that's pretty nice for our opponent. That should make up for the 4-drop. Unless I get something insane like that. Wow. Never mind. Seems me and my opponent got a really good 5-drop. Their 5-drop does require them to spend mana to get good stuff out of it, and because I just gave my whole field... what are they blocking? They're blocking the 4/4? Because I just gave my whole field +1/+1, the 2 damage isn't actually going to kill anything important. Alright. Wow, that 5-drop Tristani was a beautiful draw. Kind of ridiculous. Opponent does get an Azor the Lawbringer, which is quite nice, but I do have a pretty spread out field here. The most damage they can stop this turn is 5, and then they take 5. But they could also make me lose my Tristani. I think it is probably still worth just poking them in for the 5 damage and getting them down to 5 life. We'll definitely see what we get at 6 here. I have not seen anybody hit Demon Lord Belzenlock yet. And I'm starting to wonder if they took him out, because I've never hit him, and my opponents have never hit him, and I've played probably 10 Momir events already, and just have not seen him straight up at all. Let's see if they have the land to use the life gain ability. I don't think it matters if they do. They can't really attack with him. They need him as a blocker. The life gain ability costs white, double, blue, and X. Alright, so they have 2 blockers. They can block there and take 3. They are not technically dead yet. Maybe I'll get something with haste. Nope, just a 7/7. If I attack with everybody, I lose probably my 2 best creatures. They have to block Aegisaur, though, which puts a counter on all my other creatures, so I think it is probably still best to just get aggro. So now we're down to 5 creatures, but a hit from any single one of them is lethal. Or we're down to 4 creatures, actually. So they have to hit a creature that can kill another creature when it enters the battlefield, or a creature that comes with another creature. They either have to hit 2 creatures onto their board, or 1 creature onto their board, and subtract a creature from mine. And they did not. They got a pretty good card, though, Zatalpa. But just not for that circumstance. Zatalpa is just a big old, indestructible, flying, double-strike dragon. Actually, it's a dinosaur. It's an elder dinosaur. It is weird to me to see, like, flying dinosaurs and stuff that are, like... They're basically dragons, but technically it's an elder dinosaur, not a dragon. Moving into Game 3. Opponent leading off with Boros mana. Let's see what the first card we get is. Spore Crown Thallid. 2 mana, 2/2. Each other creature you control that's a fungus or sapling gets +1/+1. So probably just a 2/2 all game. But if it is still around by the time we hit 8 mana, we could potentially get Verdant Force. In which case, this little fungus guy could be really good. So Sai, the Master Thopterist, basically has no abilities. I could pay 2 mana and sack 2 artifacts to draw a card if I ever am in that very specific circumstance of where I get 2 artifacts. But his other ability does not work at all because you don't cast any spells in Momir. You just create tokens. Zagana's pretty nice. Just gonna be an 8/8 trample on turn 6. So I probably will be skipping my 6 mana card and instead just making Zagana really large. So my opponent's got a 3/3 dinosaur that if they get another dinosaur, it gets +2 and trample. And they got a 3/4 with vigilance that does not do anything in Momir. Azor the Lawbringer, that's a really good pickup for our opponent. They do need double blue to use the ability, but that's still a 6/6 flyer, which flying is very, very good. Especially since I don't have anything with flying or reach right now. We're going to send in Zagana. Literally whatever they block with, I'm happy. If I get to... Oh, wow. That's unfortunate for our opponent. Not the best block. Adapt is instant speed. It is easy to forget that. Opponent could have just thought you can only adapt as a sorcery. I was expecting them to maybe block with the flyer and a 3/3. That way they trade their 6/6 flyer for my 8/8 trample. And that's, like, probably a fair trade. But I would still be really, really happy with that trade just to get the flying off of their board, since I have nothing to stop that. So that is a Goring Ceratops, a 3/3 double strike. When it attacks, all of their creatures get double strike till end of turn, so that's pretty scary, especially since they have a 5/3 trample out. Never mind. I guess we'll get Chaos Maw. That seems fair. That seems real fair. So Chaos Maw, 6/6, when it enters the battlefield, deal 3 damage to all other creatures. Well, the draws have lined up pretty much perfectly for our side. And an Endraze Forerunners for our opponent, which is a cool card, but it is not going to save them. They are dead on board. And that's 3 wins. This is better than I've been doing for the past very many Momir events. I was doing way worse. Yeah, on my live streams, like, I've just been going like 0-2 and a lot of 2-3s. So it's nice to be getting lucky in the video that will be saved on the internet forever on the YouTube channel. If I'm gonna get really unlucky or punt really hard, I would rather do it in the live stream, because that's not saved forever. So that's not as embarrassing. So opponent gets a Benthic Biomancer turn 1, which is pretty cool. It's basically just a 1/1. At any point, if they just have the extra mana and they don't feel like playing a card, they can pump it up. It also lets them draw a card and discard a card when they do that, but that's basically just doesn't do anything. Opponent gets a 0/4 Defender. And I get a 2/1 that makes their Defender useless, so that's pretty cool. I think there was a pretty good argument there for just not even playing a 2-drop, because the odds of my 2-drop being something that could attack past a 0/4 is really unlikely, and if I'm taking 1 damage a turn, I don't really care that much. I didn't need a blocker at that point, you know? So, maybe didn't even need to play a 2-drop. But I got a pretty alright one. Probably gonna end up sacking my 2/2 just to kill their 3/2, though. So one good thing about the Biomancer's ability, which really is only coming up because I got a 1/1, is it allows them to attack with the Biomancer here before they play their card for turn and, like, threaten to just kill my 1/1. That's still probably not worth it. It's probably still better to just play the card even if I block with Skyscanner. We will go ahead and wipe out what we can. Starcrown Stag's pretty scary. Whenever it attacks, tap a creature defending player controls. So we're going to need multiple blockers for that thing. Which is an argument for not having blocked next turn. Just to make sure I have enough creatures around that the Starcrown Stag can't, like, get past all my defenses, which it can right now. But all I really need are any 2 creatures at this point, and one of them's going to be Well, any two creatures at this point, either of them should be large enough to trade with the Star-Crowned Stag at least. Because I'm playing a 5-mana card here, the odds of it having less than 3 power is pretty low, but it could be something like Teferi's Sentinel. We'll see. It does have 4 power, so I am just going to pass the turn. If I attack, I do get to make my boar a 4/4, which is okay, but I lose Barging Sergeant because they just block with the spider. They take 4 damage, and then the spider can just block my 4/4, so it doesn't really do much. So I'm just going to save these to block so I can kill the Star-Crowned Stag and not have to worry about it later. That is if they attack with it. Very glad they attacked with it. They could have just saved it so that even if I got a flyer, I wouldn't be able to block that flying damage later. But I respect this decision as well. Keep it aggressive. Get me down to 12 here so I die faster to the flyer. Alright, 6-drop. I'm going to need something good. They got a pretty large flyer, and I'm at pretty low life total. And now I got a pretty large flyer, so that's nice. And my flyer is slightly larger, and it has hexproof for now. So even if they hit a way to destroy target creature this turn, it will be fine. But the second this does damage, it no longer has hexproof, so that's not going to be a like forever kind of thing. Opponent chooses to just play the land, make sure they can hit higher mana costs. So they are at 7 mana now. Thanks to hitting a Sky Scanner earlier, I'm really able to get up to some high mana costs here. I think I could even just make it to 9. Oh, wow. Yeah, I could make it to infinite mana thanks to Wind Reader Sphinx. As long as this game goes on, I'm going to have lands. That's for sure. So we are going to send in the Palladia to draw the card and clear this giant Sphinx out of the way. I kind of forgot about the spider there. That was pretty derpy of me. But it's probably still alright to draw the card there. Palaka Worm from our opponent. Luckily, we do hit an 8-drop next turn. And most of those are just big, beefy creatures that should be able to block that. Lots of 7/7s and 8/8s at 8 mana. There's an 8/8. Alright, so we will send in the Sphinx just to draw a card here. We don't need it to block. So we'll pick up the card. Probably not going to attack with the Sphinx next turn because now we have enough lands to hit literally any mana cost that could make cards, I'm pretty sure. Because I think, let's see, we can go up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There is actually one 12-mana card in Escalta, so we can't technically make it all the way to 12 mana, but we can hit all the important mana costs. So, going for 9-drops, seeing if we get a Zakama. Wow. Alright, so for the record, for anybody who is unfamiliar, I don't know if I've said this at all this video, but during my live streams, it's become a running joke at this point. I have counted and tallied every time that I've went for a 9-drop. There's a 33% chance of hitting Zakama because there's 3 9-drops. I've counted and tallied it every time. We are now at 0 Zakamas. This is since the live streams. I think I got a Zakama in my first video. But anyways, 0 Zakamas and 13 failures. So, oh my god. Zatalpa is a really big problem. About the only thing I could do about that is to get a Zakama, so we go for Zakama. Come on, man. 33% chance. Okay. Alright. I really thought that this was going to last forever. I thought it was going to be 0 Zakamas after, like, 20 tries. So 1 Zakama in the past 13 times that I tried for him. We got there. This is a weird attack. Zakama has reach, so I can just block the damage. I guess it's not that bad of an attack, because their thing has indestructible. But, you know, who knows? So we can just start clearing their field. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... 11 mana now. I don't think I attack. I think I just pass and then I start burning their stuff. I want to save all my mana for doing 3 damage to creatures. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I can do 3 abilities this turn. So I'll probably kill the giant spider and gain 3 life. They get the hexproof guy. So this might be a slow win, but it is a guaranteed win at this point. Even if they get a Zakama, I can kill their Zakama with my Zakama, because I have triple red. So it's going to be one of those lame games, but I'm not going to do something that's like objectively incorrect. If I hit 9 mana, I'll go for Zakama. So we play another land here. Now we can use 4 abilities in 1 turn, so I can triple shoot the Palaka Worm and gain some life. And then I think we're at a high enough mana cost that we can start playing more cards onto this board while still saving up for Zakama abilities if we need them. And if we don't need them, then we can just make giant stuff. So they get another 7/5 hexproof. I'm very familiar with this card. I have hit it many times. Alright. We'll kill Palaka Worm. And gain some life. Okay, so we have to hit something really good. We could go for a 10 mana card and guarantee ourselves a 16/16 indestructible, but because it doesn't have trample, they can just block it with their indestructible creature every turn. That might still be the play, though. Actually, what mana is Polyraptor? Polyraptor's 8 mana, so that's funny, and Verdant Force is 8 mana as well. Let's go for 8 mana. I'm actually just gonna go for 8 mana here. We just get a 7/7, okay. I think at this point, we have the resolved Zakama with a million mana, so we're gonna win no matter what. It's just a matter of choosing how we want to win. We could pick 8 mana cards, we could pick 10 mana 16/16 indestructibles. Really do whatever we want here. We could even go for a Galta, which is just a big trample boy. They go for 10 mana, they're going for Impervious Great Worm. Problem with that is that if they start going for Impervious Great Worms, I can also just start going for Impervious Great Worms, and then we're just here forever. I guess I do mill out before them, if that's what their plan is. So, I also think that I just probably go for 8 drops and try and hit a Verdant Force to stop that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 6. What is 8 plus 6? That's 14. so I can make a Great Worm and have 4 mana up. Doesn't actually end the game. Like, if we play this forever, I just eventually mill out a very long time from now. I think I gotta go for 8 drops, still. Because I want to actually end the game. I am very safe if I just sit here and make Great Worms of my own. But that's super boring. And doesn't actually lead anywhere. So yeah, we go for 8 drops. We try and maybe just hit a Zatalpa in the meantime until we hit a Verdant Force or something. I should not have let Auto Tapper do its thing, because I could have gained 6 life this turn, theoretically. Alright. Come on. Alright, Auto Tapper did good this time. What? They're going for 9 mana, trying to hit a Zakama or something? Okay. I mean, the Great Worm plan is working for them, because my only recourse to that would be making Great Worms of my own, and they would win that long game because I'd mill out before them. So if I were my opponent, I might just keep making Great Worms. Because, like, why not? Go ahead and gain 6. Maybe at this point I just kill the stupid electrostatic thing. And that's better. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There. We'll pay it like that. Actually played it out. That's a 9/9. I mean, at least they didn't make another Great Worm. If they made another Great Worm, we're starting to get to a really bad position. Because we just have to sack multiple dudes a turn. See, now they see, yeah, they're just gonna make another Great Worm. Which is a luxury that I cannot afford, because I will mill. And also, I'm making a video right now, so I don't want this game to legitimately last 2 hours for this one game. And just for me to die from decking in a year from now. I can start just taking like 16, though. I think I'll just take the 16, actually. I really need a Polyraptor or a Verdant Force. I believe we can get there. Come on. You know what? I don't think it's worth taking out the 0-4 wall. Actually, just gain our life back to 20. Come on, universe. There he is. Okay. We got there. Now I will very slowly win this game instead of very slowly losing this game. Now I can play a Great Worm every turn. And then I get 3 blockers every round. And they see the play, they go for 9 drops, they know they cannot just continually make Great Worms at this point. Now we're gonna get there. So we got our Verdant Force. I might even just keep going for 8 drops, actually. If they're not gonna keep making Great Worms. If they start making Great Worms again, I'll just make my own Great Worms. We'll stay safe here. Let's lose our 8-8, I guess. Gain some life. Gain some life. So that would be paying 8. If I pay 10, I have enough to use the ability once. Yeah, I mean, let's go for 8. It's going to be a lot faster if I can get a Polyraptor at some point. Alright, I now have 3 blockers for Great Worms per turn. If they make another Great Worm, I can make another Great Worm and have 4 blockers per Great Worm per turn. Or 4 Great Worms for turns. They do get another Zatalpa and have to Legend Rule. I'm surprised I haven't got that yet. But I'm glad I have not. Send in the Great Worms. Sure. Block with Indestructible, block with Saplings. Oh, they're sending in the Hexproof guys too? Oh, this game's over. They just gave up. Alright. Super happy with that. I'll take it. We'll just eat all your 8-8s. That'll make this game actually end, so I like the play from our opponent. I assume they were not trying to do the best play here. They were just like, alright, game's over. But they didn't want to hit the concede button. There they go. There's the concede. That was going to take a really long time, but pretty sure we would have got there. We had the answer for everything. We get 2 Saprolings, so that's 2 blockers for Great Worm, plus we had the Indestructible creatures, so we had the 3 blockers per turn to block their 3 Great Worms, and if they ever made a 4th Great Worm, we could just make our own 4th one, and then I think eventually, if we make enough Great Worms that gets them to a point where they can't attack with their own Great Worms, or they'll die on the crackback. I don't actually know. Maybe that would also just take forever. That would just be an endless thing. Where we just keep bouncing Great Worms off each other. Actually, no, yeah, that's true. If I kept making Great Worms, if both of us kept making Great Worms, because I had Verdant Force on that board, it would eventually get to a point where I would have enough Great Worms that if they attacked me with all of their Great Worms, then all their Great Worms would be tapped, and all of mine would be untapped, so it would eventually get to a point where I could crack back with my own Great Worms. So yeah, that did work how I thought. All I needed was the Verdant Force to give me the 2 blockers per turn. I guess? You know what? Actually, no. Theoretically... No, that's not true, because if we both kept making Great Worms forever, and I didn't have Verdant Force, Sorry, I'm going in a whole long spiel about this. If we both kept making Great Worms forever and I didn't have Verdant Force, they would never have had to attack me. So it was right to be going for 8 drops like I was doing. Because if I weren't going for 8 drops, I would eventually mill the game because they would just keep all of their Great Worms untapped and just have infinite blockers. But since I got Verdant Force on the field, first of all, it's 2 blockers for the Great Worms so that I can start making my own Great Worms. And then they have to attack with their Great Worms, because if they ever don't attack with their Great Worms, then I just start amassing a horde of Saprolings to kill them with instead, because then I don't have to sack my Saprolings to survive. Alright. Sorry, I just had to do all that in my mind. That was really complex and dumb. But that's how the end of Momir games happen sometimes. Sometimes things don't just end on, like, turn 8, like usual. Sometimes they take, like, 50 turns. Alright, Ariel's pretty good. 4 mana, 4/4 Vigilance. They can make 2/2 Knights, or use their Knights to destroy stuff. It's not, like, insane in Momir, because any time that they just play a random creature at whatever converted mana cost, that creature is always going to be better than a 2/2 Knight. So, this is just good in that it gives them something to do if they want to skip playing a card in one of their turns to get up to higher mana. They want to just play their land as an actual land instead of a creature. So I got a flyer, so I like that. I think my opponent's field is still even with mine. Having a flyer against someone with no flyers is usually just like a really good sign that you're in the best position, but their field's good enough without it, and now I'm just dead. Tendershoot Dryad is just a better Verdant Force. That card is insane. 5 mana 2/2. At the beginning of each upkeep, they get a 3/3. That's going to be exceptionally hard to beat. I pretty much have to get a creature that will kill it when it comes into play within the next, like, 2 cards here, or this game is done. The other option is I could just keep playing 7 mana cards forever. I could just do my best to survive as long as possible and just spam 7 mana cards and really try to hit Chaos Maw, because Chaos Maw would enter the battlefield, deal 3 to all their creatures, which would kill all of their stuff, including Tendershoot and his baby Saprolings. So that does deal with the whole problem, instead of just the boss. I think that is going to be my game plan here. I'm going to get to 7 mana, and then I'm just going to spam 7 mana. Nothing at 8 mana can get me out of this. 7 mana also has Meteor Golem. They got another Riot creature. Alright. Well, we'll see what we get at 6. We could get a Riddlemaster Sphinx or a Dream Eater. Both of those are really nice blue flyers that also return a creature to its owner's hand, so that would kill one of their things. Fortunately, just got a 6/5 on the ground. We're getting very close to dead from their number of creatures. I can block 5 things. And actually only block 4 things because of the Clamor Shaman, so I go block, 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 take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I'm literally 1 turn from lethal. So this is unfortunate. It's definitely not a spot I'd like to be in. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to make some really bad blocks here. First of all, that Clamor Shaman needs to die. Then we can block there. We can block there and just take 11. I mean, yeah. We'll take 11. Alright, we've got one shot, one opportunity. It's Chaos Maw or bust. The odds are really not in our favor, but we're still gonna try. Come on, Chaos Maw. That's not a Chaos Maw. Game is over. Tender Shoot Dryad is pretty brutal. Not a whole lot to say that game. The main thing to say is Tender Shoot Dryad. Alright, final game, win or loss, because we have 1 loss and 2 losses and you're out, and we have 4 wins and 5 wins and you're out, so final game. Let's see how this goes. Everyone's thinking about making a 1-drop. We're also thinking about not making a 1-drop. Because that is the only possible thing they could be thinking about right now. Gameplay-wise, at least. Maybe they're thinking about all their life problems. Why they're playing a digital card game right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going through their head. Alright. On 2-drop. It is a 2-1 with no abilities that work in Momir. So it's a 2-1. Opponent gets a 1-3 with flying. Actually, like, the perfect card right now. Because it can block my 2-1 without dying, and also it's a flying attacker. So that's pretty good. 3-2s are really bad. They're just very, very easy to kill. We will have to see what they get. That's what I thought. However, it has Death Touch, so I might actually... I can probably just get in with these creatures here. I don't expect them to really want to block with their Death Toucher this early, since it can just kill any threat later. That's a 2-2 double strike? Alright. It's pretty good. That would be a very strange choice if they chose to trade for the 2-1. Because these both have no abilities, so you might as well just trade for the biggest creature. So, Quende could be hilarious. If I get really lucky and I get a Lyra next turn, then I have a double-striking Lyra, so that's funny. But also, I could just get any other random things with First Strike. I don't think there's a whole lot once you get into higher mana costs. First Strike is a lot more of an ability on small creatures, I feel like. Interesting. I guess I'll kill that. Going to 5 mana here, see if we hit Lyra, hit the lottery. We didn't hit Lyra, but we hit Techiova, which is very good. Techiova lets us gain 1 life and draw 1 card whenever land enters the battlefield under our control. So thanks to us having Techiova, we get to play a land and use Momir's ability every single turn, which is really, really nice. Just get to however high of a mana cost we want. Opponent gets an Arvad, that's pretty good. 3/3 Death Touch lifelink that kills any ground threats later on. Gain a life and draw a card here. I'm gonna go for 6 mana just because, like, I feel like I'm in a really good spot. So if I knew that Demon Lord Belzenlock was here for sure, I would just go for 5 mana. But I've played like 10 Momir events and never seen him on either side. And I kind of miss him. I miss my buddy. So if he shows up and kills me, then that's okay. And he didn't. He did not show up. I hope they didn't take him out. But I feel like they might have. Has anyone seen... I guess if anybody had seen Demon Lord Belzenlock by now, you guys probably would have posted in the comments already, but just to make it super clear, If you have seen Demon Lord Belzenlock show up in Momir's Madness in this recent update, let me know, because I haven't seen him and I miss him. He's my homie. So opponent got a really good 6-drop. This card's just very, very good. It's basically gain 8 life and destroy a creature. Because the alternative is that I never block this, and then they just hit me for 4 and gain 4 life every turn. So I have a feeling that our Techiova is probably going to be gone. Forever. But we'll see, maybe they'll choose something else. I would love to keep Techiova around, but she has already accomplished her goal. She has got me to 9 mana at this point. Oh, shoot. Well, I did just say that Techiova accomplished her goal, so at least we got the value out of her. I'm definitely going to block that vampire immediately. They get to kill our Chaos Maw or our Flyer, it's up to them. Tishana's pretty good here. Draw a couple cards, they can make it to high mana costs as well now. I guess she's not insane. Yeah, she's not actually that good because they're going to have to play these cards if they want to play cards, you know? So she's just going to be like a 2-2 or a 1-1. Probably just die real soon. So Tishana actually not that good. But I have seen Tishana do a lot of good stuff sometimes. Like, if I hadn't hit Chaos Maw last turn, Tishana would have been great. They would have drawn a lot of cards, and Tishana would have been very large. I'm not sure why they didn't attack. I guess they want to keep it around to kill something really scary that I might get later. Like, maybe I'll get something scarier right here. That could be seen as something scarier. They could also keep it to block. I guess that's true. They're not for sure if I'm going to block it or not, so I might just not block and then crack back at them. The vampire's a very good ground blocker. Basically makes me just never want to attack them on the ground, for sure. So if I block this thing... Wow, this sucks. This actually sucks a lot. Because if I block this thing, they get to kill my 1 Flyer. And then Verdant Force just blocks forever. I guess it doesn't block my Gate Colossus? No, this is okay. So they kill my Flyer, but now the only thing that can block my Gate Colossus is Verdant Force, because he can't be blocked by Saprolings. This is actually fine because I have the Gate Colossus. And they choose to kill the Gate Colossus. I guess because it probably is more likely for them to hit like a Flyer. How bad is a 7/5 Hexproof for 6/6 right now? It's not actually the worst, because they don't have a Flyer. So I can stand to lose a few coin flips here. And just get something average like the 6/6. So I could go for 9 drops and maybe hit Sakama. So they're down to 11. They need to get a Flyer real soon. They do have 9 mana. They're going for 9 drops as well. They get a Moldred Hulk. Same as me. They do have the 33% chance of getting that Zakama to block my 4/4, but they don't have any mountains, so that's basically it in terms of what it does. This is a terrible attack in my opinion. They trade their Verdant Force for a 6/6. And now I don't have to worry about the Saprolings anymore. I think that probably just solidly gave me the game there. I mean, that's not true. If they get Zakama, they're still fine. But that gave me a big, big advantage of just not having to worry about the Saprolings anymore. That was really the biggest threat on the board, was Verdant Force easily. Looks like they go for 8 mana and pick up a Gishath. Not bad, 7/6 Vigilance, Trample, Haste. However, it doesn't have Reach or Flying, so we might just get there in the air to end off the event. 2 swings away from death. My opponent gets one last shot of a Flying or Reach creature. So we'll do the trades. Another Molder Hulk. We're doing great in terms of mana. We're just getting up to some real high mana costs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So next turn I could also just play a Galta, get a guaranteed Galta, and I know I win that way, right? Galta's 12 mana, right? I gotta look it up. Chaos Maw does not quite get there, so I don't have to look up how much mana Galta costs. I think it's 12. So if they just did get like a good flying blocker, I could go for a 12 drop and get the guaranteed 12/12 trample. Try to just end it that way. But they did not, so that will end the video. That is my first 5-win run of Momir's Madness with Ravnica Legions in the format. And it feels good. I've been losing a lot. We got a Sorcerer's Spyglass. Interesting card. Definitely sees a little bit of constructed play. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I am definitely glad to win a Momir event for once. I will definitely be back with more Momir's Madness every day until War of the Spark launches. You could also check out my Twitch channel where I will be streaming. If I play more than one Momir's Madness a day, which happens a decent amount, then I will be streaming my extra Momir's Madnesses on the Twitch channel so that I don't spam your sub boxes with more than one video a day. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you had a good time. I certainly did, and I'll see you with more Magic Arena sometime soon. Well, tomorrow.